Welcome to Take 5, Christmas Eve version of Take 5. Do you have plans today? We do. Christmas Eve is always a really busy day. We have a couple of outdoor services that we're going to do in the parking lot. Maybe you'll be a part of them at 3:30 and 6:30. And then we have I'm calling it Midnight Mass, even though it's not a mass and it's not at midnight. It's at 11:15 in the evening inside, but right at 12 a.m., at midnight, we will chime the 12 bells and usher in the birth of Christ. So pretty busy, but really, really important day. Time to slow down from all of the other things we're doing and really focus on Christ and even on all that He's given us. Maybe you have family nearby or maybe you have family far away, but good time to just slow down, reflect on Christ, reflect on His gifts, and even on the relationships that He's given us. I thought I would end our time of Advent, our time of Christmas, just reading a brief story by Jim Bishop called The Holy Birth. Bishop was a writer, a fictional writer, and in a fictional style describes the birth of Christ in the relationship between Joseph and Mary. It's a good story, and I'll just leave you with that. I hope you have a really Merry Christmas tomorrow. We'll be off, Take 5, between the holidays of Christmas and New Year's, and then we'll start again in the first of the year. It's good to spend this time together. So listen to Jim Bishop and the Holy Birth. Here it is. Joseph had run out of prayers and promises. His face was sick, his eyes listless. He looked up toward the east, and his dark eyes mirrored a strange thing. 3 stars coming over the mountain of Moab were fused into one tremendously bright one. His eyes caught the glint of bright blue light, almost like a tiny moon, and he wondered about it and was still vaguely troubled by it when he heard a tiny thin wail, a sound so slender that one had to listen again for it to make sure. He wanted to rush inside at once. He got to his feet and he moved no further. She would call him. He would wait. Joseph paced up and down, not realizing that men had done this thing for centuries before he was born, and would continue for many centuries after he had gone. Joseph! It was a soft call, but he heard it. At once he picked up the second jar of water and he hurried inside. The 2 lamps still shed a soft glow over the stable, even though it seemed years since they had been lighted. The first thing he noticed was his wife. Mary was sitting tailor-fashioned with her back against a manger wall. Her face was clean. Her hair had been brushed. There were blue hollows under her eyes. She smiled at her husband and nodded, and then she stood. She beckoned him to come closer. Joseph, mouth agape, followed her to a little manger, and it had been cleaned, but where the animals had nipped the edges of the wood, the boards were worn and splintered. In the manger were the broad bolts of white swaddling that she had brought on the trip. They were doubled underneath and over the top of the baby. Mary smiled at her husband as he bent far over to look. There, among the cloths, he saw the tiny face of an infant. This, said Joseph to himself, is the one of whom the angel spoke. He dropped to his knees beside the manger. This was the Messiah. In as human way as possible, Jesus came into our homes, came into our world, and offered himself as the greatest gift we will ever have. This is the Messiah. I hope you know him. It's been great to spend Christmas time with you. I'll see you in the first of the year. Happy Christmas.